So the Weeknd, Abel, has dropped a new project essentially out of nowhere, which when you're at the stature of someone who is at the Weeknd stature, you can pull that off. You can get away with that. You can do that. And people are going to be there because your past work has spoken for itself. Speaking of your past work, this little doozy right here, After Hours, not only is it one of my favorite projects I've ever covered on this channel, it is easily, for me, one of the top projects of 2020. I'd say this, along with Plastic Hearts, Heartbreak Weather, like I would say those are probably, to me, the three best projects of that year. I mean, this is just kind of in a league of its own as far as what it did. I feel like when I listened to this for the first time, I did do a reaction to this. It is on my channel somewhere if you just search it. You know, an artist who is this far along in his career, and for an album to come out as dark as this was, yet as absolutely masterful as it was. But I found this album to be so dark, yet so self-aware. There was such a self-realization, such a... oftentimes, you can make an album that can be very dark, and it can be very, like, woe is me, take pity on me type of situation. That's not what this was. This was Weeknd, Abel really putting it all out there, I felt like, realizing what his flaws were and like how he is the issue in certain situations, yet at the same time how he still wants love. You know, he still has these desires, and there were tones of death on the album. It really is just a project that will make you think as much as any project will. It really just have you in your own feelings, in your own thoughts, reconsidering every move you've ever done, in your own self-awareness, and if you need to kind of step that up. And I say all that to say that I found this album so incredibly dark in the tone, in the sound, in the theme. And there's also the After Hours concept, where after hours it's dark outside at night. Now this is coming out, this is called Dawn FM. And dawn is obviously the rise. There's the sort of sun coming out. And I don't know, I looked up one thing about this album, right? I know that Jim Carrey is involved. And to speak on that really quickly, I don't know anything about the album aside from that. What I do know is that Jim Carrey, I've been a fan of for a long time, and I've kept up with him over the years as he's dabbled with illustration and some more serious sort of roles while still maintaining the Jim Carrey is. Jim Carrey's always had this element of darkness to him as well. And when I heard that Jim Carrey was going to be a part of this, something about that made all the sense in the entire world. Jim Carrey is an absolute genius, by the way. So you factor in the genius and the dark aspects going on throughout that man's mind. The two of them coming together just kind of feels like this match made in heaven. There's something about this combination that really, really excites me. And it's just, I really feel like the chemistry is going to be there. And it's going to be so evident, I feel like. That being said, there is an optimism within Jim Carrey as well, an optimism, a hope for more, and I am going to be looking for that within this album, considering that it is called Dawn and that we're sort of stepping towards that light after hours. And I want to kind of see what these two gentlemen sort of, how they navigate through that. Obviously, you know, you think pandemic, you know, this was made during a pandemic. I know that Jim Carrey is gone through it during the pandemic, as we all have. Obviously, Weeknd has as well. Abel has. When I see this album cover, I can't help but think about how we've all withered and aged physically, mentally, etc., to such an extreme during these couple pandemic years here. It's just felt like it has been 20 years now, and that's what it makes me think of. Whether he was going for that or not, I have no idea. Obviously, he is. I saw the Save Your Tears music video. He's very, very good at sort of doing this to himself in such a realistic way that you have to like double take for a second. He's just a genius, The Weeknd. And I'm gonna shut up because I can say so much about what my thoughts are going into this. I can keep on going, but I just want to get into it because we got a fresh album, and I'm excited because it literally just came out. As always, full uncut reactions to this album, all the albums that I react to on my Patreon, links in the description. My Dear Melancholy, Beauty Behind the Madness, Starboy are the only three albums I haven't listened to yet. And I've listened to everything else on the channel. There's reactions to everything. and those ones are pretty big ones that I haven't listened to. I'm aware, and I absolutely will get to them 100%. I absolutely will. All right, guys, let's do this Dawn album, track 1. We already have the Dawn. So that was one of my questions, actually. One of my thoughts is, are we going to make our way towards the dawn as we work through the album, or are we actually at the dawn? If this is starting off this way, the birds are chirping, I would imagine the sun is rising. As track 1 is starting, we're getting into it right away. The sun has officially crept its way out. Is it dark all alone? All alone. The swelling.
It's time to walk into the light and accept your fate with open arms. Scared? Don't worry. We'll be there to hold your hand and guide you through this painless transition. But what's the rush? Just relax and enjoy another hour of commercial-free music on 103.5 Dawn FM. Stay
tuned. There's gonna be a theme here. It seems like he's really playing on the radio aspect. This 103.5 Dawn FM. It's very like there's a glisten and a light tone in the way that Jim is speaking throughout that last few seconds of that track there as he came in, and really leading you into the light, as he said, leading us. You know what it feels like? It feels like we've all gone through this pandemic together, all of us, and we've all been through the ringer. Like, it's been bullshit for the vast majority of us, and it feels like Abel understands that, because he relates to that to a large degree in his own like emotional ways, and Jim does as well. And it feels like this is Abel's way to, guide us all, help us all through this. It's sort of like a togetherness piece. It's a compilation where it's more than just his perspective and his situation. It's like we're all in this together, and I know he's very passionate about his fans and the way he came up, and it seems like that's going to play a large role in this. Okay, Gasoline, track 2. It's such classic. The synths, the Weeknd synths.
It's 5 a.m. my time again. I'm calling and you know it's me. I'm pushing myself further. I'm just trying to feel my heartbeat beat.
I push myself further. I'm just trying to feel my heartbeat. I'm just trying to feel something. Is this the Weeknd with some special effect? This is a special effect that I'm not even familiar with. It's so old. It's so reminiscent of these older sounds that they bring you back to actually that radio sound.
I'm pushing myself further. I'm just trying to feel my heartbeat beat.
You're just looking to feel something.
Now I love it when you watch me sleep. You spin me around so I can breathe. It's only safe for you and me. Now I love it when you watch me sleep. You spin me around so I can breathe.
Okay, you spin me around so I can breathe. I know you won't let me OD, because if someone has done a lot of drugs, I think like crystal meth particularly, but not, there's other, I think crystal meth, if you don't turn someone on their side, like if they're sleeping and they have like an attack, if anyone's seen Breaking Bad, you understand this, and if you don't, you might still understand it. If you put them on their side, they have a better chance of survival. If you leave them, there's a much higher likelihood of an OD and therefore death. So not only is he into the night, in these after hours leading up to this light moment, this is not a light moment, but the dawn here, he's done drugs with this person, They've just had sex because he's talking about the choking around the neck, and he's done drugs. But he not only is he sharing this moment with this partner, it's also like he also trusts this person with his life, and that's a big fucking statement for like there's more than just sex at that point. There's something else going on there, and like it's almost ironic when you think about it that way, because there's a lightness to the song, right? There's a lot of sense in the song, but they're a bit lighter than what The Weeknd typically uses, where you kind of feel a darkness drenched in everything, and that's not what this is at all. Even though he's talking about ODing and whatnot, this is already fucking so fascinating to me. I feel like these songs are gonna fly by. I know they're gonna fly by because that song fucking flew by, and I'm just accustomed to these longer songs. Like I feel like typically we'd be halfway there, and then he's completely transitioning to something different. But I see what he's doing already, because there's no need to extend that song. That song got its point across. Right, we understand how he's spending his time, and even the fact that like he's gone through what he wrote this pandemic, right? Gone through all of this, and you know he had the night he had, and he's accepted death at this point. Like it's like, if I die, like I've accepted it. Kind of is what it is. You can burn my body to the ground right here. Just pour the gasoline on it. It is what it is to me at this point. And he maintains his classic Weeknd darkness. At the same time, there's a light to this song because he's with someone that he trusts with his life at the same time. All right, How Do I Make You Love Me? Incredibly interesting title.
We're going back in time. I'd like to see you try unpacking thoughts through tunnels in your mind.
Ooh.
I'd fix you mushroom tea and cross the restless sea. How do I make you fall? How do I make you want me?
Oh man.
You think it lasts eternal. Girl, you don't have to hide. Forget about what your daddy said. I'll teach you how to shine. And all the things you taught.
You know, him saying forget about what your daddy said, it's like he's embracing both roles at that point, and it's saying that is almost like is this how I can get you to love me? By playing, like taking the role of like both your lover and your like the father role that you didn't have. I know that sounds weird to say out loud, but I think you understand what Abel and myself are getting at with that. You know, the daddy issues thing where you just kind of, you know, try and replace that best you can, but like as a partner. I'm gonna stop talking before that gets any weirder. In my words, as opposed to the genius thing he is in the way he worded that. Really clever, and I love that that's part of the "How do I make you love me" idea.
I say, how do I make you love me? How do I make you fall? How do I make you want me?
And it's not even, is he ad-libbing and make it last eternally? He's not, like, he's looking for something eternal at this point. Like, he is very deliberate about that. Man, these synthesizers. Right in. I like we have the breaths that kicked in at the end of the song there with "Take My Breath" coming up. His Michael Jackson influence is drenched in his music, and I love when I hear it drenched to an extra extent. I said this about After Hours is definitively the best produced album I've ever heard in my life, as far as the albums I've consumed personally. There is no better produced album than After Hours. I know Abel is heavily involved in that. And this is right on par with After Hours, and that is an incredible feat. Already, I know we're only just 3 tracks in, but it's already. You can tell, you can feel where this is going. 3 tracks in to accomplish this pristine level of production. You got a pretty good feeling that that's not gonna, falter at any point. So let's go to Take My Breath, track 4. Did I listen to this song? Okay, yeah, because I recognized it. Like, you don't not recognize this song. Okay.
Take my breath away and make it last forever, babe. Do it now or never, babe. Take my breath.
It is incredible how he doesn't miss a beat, right? You go from, you have like on the last project, you have Blinding Lights, you have Save Your Tears, you have these massive songs with these incredibly cohesive sounds, yet they're so different, yet they incorporate such just these flawless synths that only The Weeknd can really pull off and make them sound the way they do. And there's something about those synths and his vocals that just like belong together. It's harmony, matrimony. And for him to go from that to for this song to have been created, and then this song just is right in line with the greatness of those 2 songs, to me speaks to just how not just incredible he is, but how consistent he is, and how he's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's so obvious that he's already been around for so long, and he's going to maintain that for so much longer. You think about the greats, like the absolute great of the greats, like the Michael Jacksons, the Princes, like where The Weeknd sort of lines up as far as his style and his level of greatness. Not that Michael Jackson and Prince, like, they're not actually all that similar. They just are, as far as like a solo male act. You can even go to like an Elton John, just as far as like greatness that was sustained for such a long time as an individual male artist. The Weeknd is going to be that guy that does this for a long time, that only like those select male solo artists were able to do because they were just that great. And to me, like when you have a song like Take My Breath that follows the songs that you had in the last project, it's one of the best examples of that. How like the guy is just never going to be able to not pull off this level of consistency. To me, it's just so clear. Sacrifice, next track. Man, there's an additional level of funk on it. Take My Breath's got some funk in it. This is starting out with a great level of funk. There's an additional level of funk on this album.
I was born in a city where the winter nights don't ever sleep, so this life's always with me. The ice inside my veins will never bleed. Love.
Oh man, it's so sharp.
Every time you try to fix me, I know you'll never find that missing piece. When you cry and say you miss me, love.
What is that?
I hold you through the toughest parts when you feel like it's the end. Can't tie me down. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice. Oh baby, I hope you know that
I adore when he does that, and he comes out of nowhere with it too right here. He lulls you in with just how illegally catchy this is, and then it's just and then not only that, you have the lyrics in this too, which don't throw you off, because this is very Weeknd, but it's also like it's very fucking straightforward. He's such a straightforward person with a lot of this, and he doesn't sugarcoat, he doesn't like hide what his own how he approaches things, what his own feelings are, what's going on inside his own head. Like, it's direct. This is very direct. And when you have that mixed in with how goddamn catchy this is, how perfectly leveled the how perfect the levels in this song are with everything going on. Then boom, don't forget that he's got those goddamn vocals that'll come in. Okay, it's such an interesting track considering where we were on How Do I Make You Love Me. Like, he's got to be talking about not even just How Do I Make You Love Me, Gasoline as well, right? Like, he's in this situation with this person. Yeah, it could be the same person, actually. But How Do I Make You Love Me, though? It's almost like he wants it both ways. Like, The Weeknd definitely wants love. It is what it feels like. But then you get to Sacrifice, and it's almost like, well, not in this situation. Like, you're not going to get that from me, whomever this person was, because I just really, really value my time. Now, I do think that there is more death tones in there, the themes, I should say, because I think that my time speaks to more than just like, well, my time literally does equal like how much time I have left to live. I mean, literally. But I do think he does mean it much more than just what you would think when you say, "Oh, my time." This is I cherish my own time. I think he means that, like, what he's gone through. I mean, look at the album cover, right? He's aged himself, and I think that speaks to just how much he's trying to appreciate what time he has left, given just how brutal it's been lately. And I think he's battling that whole wanting love versus who it is versus him being truly ready for it. And I think Sacrifice does a really good job at like showing that side of like that version of, man, am I really ready for this? Because life is so fucking short that if I'm gonna spend it with one person, I want it to be one person that like I'm really all in on. Okay, A Tale by Quincy, track 6.
That's it. Looking back now, I didn't know what it was supposed to be. It further cemented the idea that I didn't need a mother. Growing up without one had long-lasting effects I didn't fully understand until much later in life. It bled into my relationships with family and those I had become romantically involved with.
Oh, the next track is called Out of Time. Are you fucking kidding me? Sir, you are a genius. Because I was just thinking, looking back is a bitch, isn't it? And I didn't even look at the next track. I swear to God, in my head, I'm like, yeah, looking back is a bitch because, like, you lost all that time. You no longer have it. And that is what makes it a bitch. Like, yeah, laugh because it's all you can do at this point. And then I look at the next track and it's Out of Time. And it's literally, like, what I was thinking. And it just makes so much sense. And it's not like, How Do I Make You Love Me bled into Take My Breath perfectly. He is oh, man. Oh, my brain. I can't believe he just did that. Okay, couple things. Is that Quincy Jones? Now, what I'm curious about is if that's Quincy Jones's story. It's got to be Quincy Jones's story, right? But does Abel relate to that story very deeply, where it just makes perfect sense for him to... It's a tale by Quincy, but it's so relatable to him where it's almost like it's his tale as well. Like, it would fit in the album that well. I mean, you also have like perspective. I see the last track is Phantom Regret by Jim. I assume that's going to be Jim Carrey's sort of perspective about something, and I feel like he's getting perspective from other minds that are on his level. There's like this deep level of relation to these other minds, and I feel like that Quincy Jones is going to fit into that. Okay, Out of Time. I'm excited for this. Also, it would make, based on what that tale was, everything that Quincy Jones was saying in there would fit perfectly with so much of what I've heard from Abel as far as his relationships and sort of what has caused the destruction and his own, oftentimes him destructing them, but like it was laid out by Quincy how he would bring those issues from his upbringing and a lack of sort of whatever guidance, and that would bleed into those relationships. And you look back and it's like, oh fuck, looking back's a bitch. I'm out of time.
The last few months I've been working on me, baby. There's so much trauma in my life. I regret I didn't take you. Now I can't keep you from loving him. You made up your mind. Say I love you, girl, but I'm out of time. Say I'm there for you, but I'm out of time. Say that I care for you, but I'm out of time.
I love that.
Singing out of time.
I love that.
Said I had you to myself, but I'm out of time.
No, I love this song.
That I care for you, but I'm out of time. Better too late to.
It's like the song says, you are out of time. You're almost there. Dawn FM.
Okay, so we're ooh. I like how that literally played for 1 second, and I really like how that sounded at the start. That here we go again. Two things. That's like as much of a love song as I've ever heard from The Weeknd. The second thing I want to say is that I feel like that's like that song. I don't want to. Yeah, The Weeknd has been so toxic in so much of his music, so I'm not shy to call him toxic. But there's a toxicity in that song. Obviously, he's saying, if you at some point want to leave this person you're with now, come back to me. Like there's a level of toxicity in that approach to communicating with an ex, and I promise you that there is going to be a demographic, a number, a very real number of people, largely gentlemen, that are sending that song to their exes, and their exes that are in relationships, particularly specifically. That is something that is absolutely going to happen, if not already happening right this second, overnight, as this came out overnight, and they heard the song and they're like, oh, I need to text her. I'm going to send her the lyrics to this. I'm going to send her this actual song, and she's laying in bed with her other boyfriend. I just know that that's going to happen, and I wish you all the best that are going to attempt to do that. Borrowed toxicity from the genius and GOAT that is The Weeknd. Okay, this next track, here we go again. Tyler, the Creator. What I also love about Out of Time, by the way, is that oftentimes The Weeknd pens his song. Like The Weeknd's always been super self-aware, from what I've realized, particularly, especially on After Hours, but like all his music. He's self-aware. He knows that he's got lots of issues and he's dealing with them album by album, song by song. And he often pens these to himself. He often pens them to sort of like, oh, this is what it is, and something I have to deal with and I'm currently dealing with. And in this song, he's penning it to this girl now. He's penning it to this former lover, this person that he really wants to know, like, hey, like, I really fucked up. Like, I really, really wish I could do it differently, and I hope you give me another chance to do it differently at some point, because I really want that love. Like, I want that, and I want it with you. All right, here we go again, featuring Tyler, the Creator.
Strike a pose with my kinfolk, front page of the billboard, suit and tie, cigar smokes.
This melody is sampled from something old.
With my kinfolk, front page of the billboard, suit and tie, cigar smokes. Macallan charts till it burn throats. We still celebrating Super Bowl. Catalog looking legendary, ring froze like it's February. XO, that's a mercenary. A quarter bill on and off, yeah. Used to sing on logs, but now we cruising on the yacht, we clear, yeah. Said you wanted your boyfriend jealous with a couple pics, and you didn't expect to fall for me once you got this dick. The city dark, city dangerous. Your girlfriends try to pair you with somebody more famous, but instead you ended up with someone so basic, faceless, someone to take your pictures and frame it. And my new girl, she a movie star. My new girl, she a movie star. I love the right, make her scream like Nev Campbell, but when I make her laugh, swear it cures my depressing thoughts. Cause baby girl, she a movie star.
Oh my gosh, that's as good. And I know the opening's not done. He's still got lines he's getting in. I'm still gonna go back because that's as good an opening as I've ever heard any Weeknd song ever. Period. There's so much in that, so much. I'm going all the way back, guys. I'm sorry.
With my kinfolk, front page of the billboard, suit and tie, cigar smokes, Macallan shots till it burned throats. We still celebrating Super Bowl. Catalog looking legendary, ring froze like it's February. XO, that's a mercenary. A quarter bill on and off, yeah. Used to sing on logs, but now we cruising on the yacht, we clear, yeah. Said you wanted your boyfriend jealous with a couple pics, and you didn't expect to fall for me once you got this dick. The city dark, city dangerous. Your girlfriend's trying to.
What is with the the applause? First of all, it sounds like he's being used. Number one, like he's flexing. He's talking about. I love the reference to like the quarter bill in an off year. And I assume he's talking to, he mentioned the Super Bowl, and I don't know if he's referencing particularly like the fact that he performed in the Super Bowl and if that was his off year, and now the catalog's legendary now that he added After Hours to it, and he's got all these, like such a huge collection of projects that are like this huge array of a range of sound. There's the point is there is so much in that verse, and we're not even in the part where he gets to the fact that he something about having sex just to feel something.
You with somebody more famous, but instead you ended up with someone so basic, faceless, someone to take your pictures and frame it. And my new girl, she a movie star. My new girl, she a movie star. I love the right, make her scream like Nev Campbell, but when I make her laugh, swear it cures my depressing thoughts.
So I did this. I love the scream play on words, and then when I'm making love, it cures my depressive thoughts. And I mean, you don't need to think too deeply into that. He's literally letting you know that he's got all these depressive thoughts. Like so much goes through his head, and he referenced how in After Hours how he would, rather die than be without what he specifically had referenced in that album. And it was this relationship. It was his former partner, and now he's talking here where while he's making love, it helps him forget about those depressive thoughts. It cures him from that in those moments, and those moments only last so long, right? You go back to Gasoline, and in Gasoline, he's having sex and he's content with death directly after sex because he's just had sex. He's had a form of cure for his depressive thoughts, which is the sex, and now he's referencing that again and again. We have this incredible cohesion. This is my favorite song on the album so far, and we haven't even gotten to Tyler yet, and we're not even halfway through it.
We don't need the government involved because we like to touch. We don't need no damn religion telling us that we in love. But if we did crash down the road, spending lawyer fees up, prenup, you gon' sign this prenup.
Oh, was that it? That was an incredibly short verse. Wow. Emphasis on you gonna sign this prayer. So Well, first he was saying we don't need to get married to validate anything that's going on here. But then he said, you're gonna sign this prenup, you're gonna sign this prenup. If you insist on it, I assume is what we're getting at. If you insist on it, well, you're gonna sign this, because that's how badly you want this. Is what I assume he's kind of saying there.
Pen and pad gon' save my ass if these feelings freeze up. You gon' sign this prenup. Pen and pad gon' save my ass if these feelings freeze.
Pen and pad gonna save my ass if these feelings freeze up. Okay, so then, wow, there is pen and pad gonna save my ass if these feelings freeze up. You signing this prenup is gonna save my ass if these feelings freeze up. Like, if the shit doesn't work out, the fact that you sign this is gonna save my ass, because like there's still this thought in my head where this might not work out, and again, that's gonna be based on shit that you've been through.
You gon' sign this prenup.
Especially if you're dealing with someone in the industry, right? You're talking about a movie star, and you're referencing someone earlier that's like using you to make this other person jealous, but then they fell for you once they had sex with you. There's a lot of shit involved in that might not work out. That feels sampled from something.
The number one station to free your soul.
I get so caught up in these songs that I forget that we're doing this whole radio thing at the end of a lot of these songs. That's my favorite song on the album, guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're my best friend now. Oh, I don't want to be responsible for your heart if we fall. 'Cause I'll get clumsy and tear it apart. I love you so. You're my best friend. Oh, I love it.
Fuck, he loves this person so he loves, and it's so, because like it's fucked up, because he wants love so bad. It's so evident he wants love so bad, yet when he has someone that he loves so much, he knows that he's gonna fuck it up. So he's just so like aware of his habits and who he is that he's gonna fuck it up, so he can't do it. And it's like this really fucked up sort of situation, like self-inflicted, yet there's the self-awareness, and that completely prefaces the entire situation.
Oh, friends no more. Sex as friends no more. You don't wanna have sex as friends no more. Friends no more. Ooh, friends no more. Sex as friends no more. You don't wanna have sex as friends no more.
Is that over already? That's over? Oh my god. Oh my god, I had to stop that for a second. I'm gonna go back though. I wanted Best Friends to go longer. It just is him ranting about this situation that he doesn't want to overcomplicate, and feelings kind of fucked everything up. And again, I referenced it earlier, like he wants something so bad that he almost can't have. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The start, I know that look you give when we're fighting. Cause I used to be the one who was lying. Oh, lying. Oh,
Yeah, it takes one to know one type of situation there. I didn't even, like, is there someone else? Don't think I even read the title track, because I'm really starting to get lost in what is in immaculate cohesion of record here.
hurting me. If I ain't with you, I don't wanna be. Is there someone else or not? Ooh, or not? I don't deserve don't you think I see?
It's so interesting because you listen to this, and when has The Weeknd ever really, like, the dawn really is coming? Because when has The Weeknd really put himself out here like this with this kind of dialogue?
Who I used to be, I swear I changed my ways for the better.
I don't want to be a prisoner to who I used to be. There's elements to this album that are reminiscent of some of the stuff I've heard on Trilogy, like House of Balloons particularly. There's it's almost like and stuff that wasn't on After Hours. Like it feels like he's really sort of kind of, and I guess that would actually play into the dawn aspect where you just like, because healing as best you can is a culmination of dealing with your past, and he referenced that here. There's that line in there where like don't want to be like I don't want to be that person I used to be. There was a lyric in there that he used in this song that I fucking adore. I forgot the lyric already, but I'll look it up after this. Well, yeah, Jim Carrey. Not in this one. Oh, I like the blend in there. Again, I mean, The Weeknd is a fucking master at doing that, though. The songs blend into each other. The Jim Carrey radio thing is staying consistently just so logical, because typically a radio DJ would only chime in like every 4 songs or so. Like you don't, when you're doing like a mix that plays, you don't just come in at the end of every single song. Like it's every few songs. So I like that they actually played true to the realism of that.
I only met you
Starry
on
Eyes.
trains before, when I was young and alone in the world. You were there when I needed someone to call my girl, and now you're my reality. Let me be there for your heart. Let me be there, I can be there until you're home. You weren't touched by a man in so long, and you can kick me to the curb. It's okay, babe, I promise that I felt worse.
But I felt worse.
Back then I was starry-eyed, and now I'm so cynical. Baby, break me, get me to the curb. Oh.
Okay, so is there someone else in Starry Eyes feel like one song? They are. They're separate songs, but really they're one song. They're to the same person. They're professing a lot of the same thing. So there's someone else who's asking a specific question, and Starry Eyes is sort of the climax of that conversation, that reach out to this person, those questions, and now you're at the point where you're just sort of letting them know, like, hey, like it's all on the table. Like I like this is I'm giving you all of me in this moment, and it's in his voice, it's in the singing style that he sings with in Every Angel Is Not. That's the next song. In Starry Eyes, it's in his singing style. There is like this level of vulnerability in his singing style. But it's interesting because like he says at the end there, you know, kick me while I'm down, like I felt worse. Or you can kick me to the curb, I felt worse. I used to be starry-eyed, I'm no longer starry-eyed, I'm now cynical. And it's what's ironic about that is while he's professing his love to this person, that he wants to make it work, and that like he'll do everything he can for this person, he'll give them what they need, the love that they need, like they will make it work. And you know, and you can kick me to the curb if you don't see like the change, like me making those changes. It's fine. Like I felt worse, and for you to even say something like that, like it's fine, I felt worse, like is a cynical thing to say, and he acknowledges that once again. The Weeknd is extremely self-aware, constantly, even with directness, and it's the irony, sort of interesting aspect of all of that. It's all interesting, but what I want to point out is that cynicism isn't going to accomplish what he wants in the situation. It's just not. yet he kind of can't help that. And I think that lends itself to sort of this tragedy that sort of is always underlying in the Weeknd, even during his healing process. And it's kind of said in the Tale by Quincy, right? Like, it's so hard to change who you are. Like, you realize stuff that's so late, and it's almost like the Weeknd is going through that, where he's realizing as it's going, but the stuff is still passing him by, and he's aware it's passing him by, but not making the changes quick enough. Like, such as like being cynical. Like, you can't be cynical and make something work. You just can't. It's a quality that's not endearing in the productivity of a relationship, particularly when it's already had its issues. So, needless to say, he's still got so much work to do, and he fucking knows that too. Yet he's still wants this love so bad. And holy fuck, am I just like obsessed with all of the layers that go into this man's work and lyricism, and the connection too between projects as well, particularly between this and After Hours, and how this is all. Jim Carrey said it at some point halfway, I think after Out of Time, he said, or was it after A Tale by Quincy? I don't remember. It was one or the other, where he said, we're making our way towards the dawn. We're almost there. That trauma is almost healing, so to speak. I mean, we'll see, because there's still hints of that trauma that's there. So let's go to Every Angel is Terrifying. I can't stress enough how in love I am with everything that I'm going
Who, if I cried out, would hear me among the angels' order, even if they pressed me against their heart?
I'm not familiar with Abel's speaking voice. Is that him? It sounds like him.
Who, if I cried out, would hear me among the angels' order, even if they pressed me against their heart? I'd be consumed. For beauty is the terror we endure. While we stand in wonder, we are annihilated.
While we stand and wonder, we're annihilated, and that is directly correlated to the pedestals that he's put these women on that are. It's not like it's a pedestal that's being acknowledged, yeah, but like they're actually angels to him. We get that is so beautifully dark, and I think this is the first time I've ever heard him speak in my life.
While we stand in wonder, we are annihilated. Every angel is terrified.
Euphoric, provocative, edgy, thought-provoking, technically and visually stunning. Scream. Afterlife can be yours for only $4.95 with a subscription when you order the best of your current Life Collection series. You will enter a world beyond your imagination. A future out of control. And an experience you will never forget.
They're pitching that Afterlife sort of promo there that feels like they're talking about death. And there's so many descriptions that they use to lead up to it. And it's interesting because everything that he was describing in the ad spot there, I felt like he was describing for this project right here, After Hours. And he said after, and I was like, wait, he's going to say After Hours? But then he said Afterlife. And then I was like, oh, death. And then, which this reminds me of that. This Dawn project reminds me of death. Once again, the Weeknd is approaching that topic consistently, often, and that leads. There's also the Every Angel is Terrifying. You find yourself in front of an angel, and yeah, he's talking about just how much he loves woman, but at the same time, there is angels. In the idea of death and how you would face them right before what would be death, and then you're leading to the afterlife after that beautiful. I think that sound like that speaking voice sounds like what it would lead to a singing voice by Abel. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but that whole like soliloquy that Abel went on there, poetry, just really felt like it blended into this concept of afterlife, which would be death. Okay, Don't Break My Heart, track 13.
I see you drowning in the purple lights, dawn is shining bright. I know for sure, just don't break my heart. Don't let me down, please. Don't you break my heart. I don't know if I can take it anymore. Take it anymore. Take it anymore. I can't take another heartbreak, or I'll end it all.
Oh, I happened to pause it at him saying, or I'll end it all. And we have another death reference. Again, he is consumed by this, by his own, like his acceptance of death, his acceptance of, if it ends now, it's fine. Because I've exhausted I put my heart on my sleeve with this project, particularly, like, it's all out there. So if I die now, it's fine. And there's the album cover just makes so much sense in connection. You know, I'll be honest, when I saw the album cover, I was so sort of like, what, like, visually, this is a stunning art piece, just as a visual and a piece of art. It's so well done. It looks realistic. If you didn't know what The Weeknd looked like and you saw it, you'd just be like, oh wow. But I was like, how is this going to tie into the album? Then I thought more into the whole Dawn thing and pandemic. It all made more sense. Now that I'm listening to it, it all makes perfect sense, beyond perfect sense. But I listen to this song here, I'm thinking of Here We Go Again. I'm thinking of Best Friends. I'm thinking of Is There Someone Else, blending into Starry Eyes. And Every Angel is Terrifying, and the death concepts on that, lending itself into another death reference on Don't Break My Heart. I know that this is the first album I've listened to this year, and I already know I'm going to be at the end of the year talking about this one as one of the best, if not the best, of the whole year.
I just need the room to stop, and I could be the one you want, just as long as you don't break my heart.
All out there. All out.
Kissed your neck. That the room is hot. I can taste it sweat. It's just you and I in the discotheque.
But don't you worry.
Was that the same voice from Gasoline? Okay. He's putting himself out there, and I've never heard him put himself out there in this way. He puts himself out there constantly on his own terms, like pretty much to himself and to his fans, but not like to the opposite sex, not romantically speaking. Like he talks about these romantic endeavors a lot, but not in the light of please don't break my heart. I mean, that is Abel in a place that I've yet to see, and all of this here, it's the dawn. It's what it is. Like, literally, it is the dawn, and I've said that a few times now, and I can't help but think that, and that means he did his job. Okay, since I heard you're married, what does this make me think of? This makes me think of, was it Starry Eyes? Which song was it? Was it Out of Time? I don't even remember. The song where he said, where this person's I think it's Out of Time. Where the other person's in a relationship and it's too late. But he says, you can call me, and if it doesn't work out, call me. If you believe you won't trust him at some point, call me. I'll be here. We can make it work. That's what this makes me think of. Like, almost we're gonna call back on that almost. All right, featuring Lil Wayne.
This a fling, joy in someone's ring. It hurts to think I'm shedding you. Ooh, I heard you're married, girl. And I knew that this was too good to be true. Ooh, I heard you're married, girl. Oh, if you don't love him, just leaving. Your number in my phone, I'm gon' delete it. But why you even with him if you cheated?
Oh wow.
Now that you were someone that I could be with.
Oh wow.
And it kills me that I'm sharing you. Heard you're married, girl. The way you had me wrapped around your finger too. Ooh, I heard you're married, girl.
Okay, this sucks. This sucks for Abel, but this is a change. This is that dawn. This is growth. This is becoming a different person to a degree, because I feel like the old Weeknd would have been fine with this. It almost would have been convenient for him, for this girl to be married. Not that he would have like not had like this inner battle of sort of a inner moral conflict, so to speak. But now he's just outright like, no, this is not okay, and now you've hurt me, and this is the Weeknd that really just, it's like, you know, yearning for, again, love. And he thought he had it here, but it wasn't this one. Because my goodness. I'm so excited to hear Lil Wayne on this, by the way.
But I can't fuck with you. You put my love on the line and hang up on you. That's a long kiss goodbye, got a tongue to shoot. And when doves cry, we ain't got enough tissue. I'm still in love with you, where the love at? You walk down the aisle, I can make you run back. And tell hubby I kill him, no hubcap. Whoa.
So the hubby, I'll kill him, no hubcap, like no cap, no lie, hub, play on hubby. The dove cry line was clever. This was a cool verse from Wayne.
But you're too deceiving, girl. Oh, I can't be with you. No, I can't be with you. You're too deceiving, girl. Ooh, I can't be with you. No, I can't be with you. You're too deceiving, girl. Oh,
Again,
I can't be with you. No, I can't be with you. You're too deceiving, girl.
Again, there's a level of funk. There's a slower, these are slower jams, and I think Jim Carrey actually referenced that we had some slow jams coming. These are slower jams, especially in comparison to After Hours. Yet you still have those synths that are on this album, those classic Weeknd synths, and just again flawless production. But slower jams because we're a bit more putting ourselves out there, more sort of directly conversing with this woman here. I love everything from Abel on that. The Wayne verse was okay to me. It wasn't anything that like I was like, oh man, I absolutely needed that on there. And I like Wayne, so I don't know. All right, Less Than Zero, track 15. What I will say about that verse is I feel like if I'm listening to that like in the car, when I'm not really like listening to lyrics, I'm just sort of like taking everything in and singing along, but I'm not like, oh my god, this hurts, these lyrics are hurting my heart. You know, when you're in the car, you're just like feeling the musicality of everything. I think I would enjoy the verse more, where it's just like classic Wayne cadence. You know, he's in his pocket. I'll probably enjoy it more in that aspect, less of a breakdown lyric aspect.
Remember, I was your hero. Yeah, I'd wear your heart like a symbol. I couldn't save you from my darkest truth of all. I know I'll always be less than zero.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, you tried your best with me, I know. I couldn't face you with my darkest truth of all.
Oh my god, I love this. I love this so far.
'Cause I can't
I love that. First of all, I love this build. I love the musicality of it. I love how it literally feels like the sun is out, which is the perfect close to this album right before this last track, which might just be monologue. I love that. I try to hide it, but I know you know me because he's with this person who, like, there's a real love here. There's a real connection here. There's a real understanding of each other. So you can't hide this from this person. But then there's the other part where, like, I'd rather be free. But, like, we are so sort of, like, connected in a way where I want to be myself. I want to, like, be this free feeling human when I'm with you. I don't want to suppress this stuff. Like, I'm fully in a place where, like, I'm looking for the trauma to be healed. That's why, like, I want to meet you in the middle. But again, he's talking about dying in this girl's arms, and you just can't avoid that that reference, even in this track here, where you feel like the sun is coming out.
Yeah, I'll always be less than zero. You tried your best with me, I know.
That song's really got me messed up, guys. You tried your best with me, I know. So there's that acknowledgement. There's the acknowledgement of, like, you tried your best. This is on me. I'll always be less than zero. And I want to say again that is cynical. There's cynicism in that statement, but he means it, though. He feels like less than zero now that he's at this point where he really is yearning for this true love to actually work and to grow. But he's got all this regret. He's dealing with so much regret during the healing process. And I fucking love about this album that it's not all like there's the hints of positivity and healing and light, but it's still, like, really real. There's so much darkness and, like, especially from someone like The Weeknd, who's got so much of that trauma with him that he carries. Like, Go to a Tale by Quincy is a key track in this album. And I love that there's so much real and reality behind this process that is this album, this process of trying to deal with your trauma. It's not just a straight, like, oh, hey, look, we figured it all out. Like, yay, like, the sun is out now. It's the dawn. Yay, like, we've healed. No, like, there's so much pain that comes with that. And, do you actually get there? I don't know. But, hey, we have tried to get there. Okay, Phantom Regret by Jim. I don't know what to expect from this. I am so excited, though. Less Than Zero is easily one of my top, probably my second favorite song on the whole album.
You're tuned to Dawn FM. And how many grudges did you take to your grave? When you weren't liked or followed, how did you behave? Was it often a dissonant chord you were strumming? Were you ever in tune with the song life was humming? If the pain's living on when your body's long gone and your phantom regret hasn't let it go yet, heavens for those who let go of regret. And you have to wait here when you're not all there yet. But you could be there by the end of this song, where the weekend's so good and he plays all week long. Bang a gong, get it on.
There's so many lines in here. Jim Carrey is a profound human being, a profound artist. This is incredible. There's so much in here that I want to talk about, but I don't want to. I just want to, like, let it keep going. There's so much. I can't even talk about it right now because literally there is every line I want to talk about. I want to talk about every fucking line on this, but that would. Oh my goodness, the not getting to heaven with regret line, which was the last one, but there's so many before that.
Rain falls, we're all bathed in its grace. Heavens for those who let go of regret.
Heavens for those who let go of regret, and this album is drenched in regret. and therefore we're still going.
Consider the flowers. They don't try to look right. They just open their petals and turn to the light. Are you listening real close? Heaven's not that, it's this. It's the depth of this moment. You don't reach for bliss. God knows life is chaos, but he made one thing true. You gotta unwind your mind, train your soul to align, and dance till you find that divine boogaloo. In other words, you gotta be heaven to see heaven. May peace be with you.
Please don't be over. There's no amount of words in that entire poem by Jim Carrey that will do justice to how incredible that was. I want to talk about literally every line in that song, but nothing I say is going to do justice to just how profound the message of that was, how deliberate he was, and the message he wanted to get across. He's not playing any games with that. It's not like this, like I'm gonna say this really clever poem and these really clever words, and it's gonna be kind of a riddle. You're not gonna be able to figure it out. No, it's fucking not that at all. It literally is a gift to us. First of all, music is a gift, and there's hints of that message in this song, in this poem, whatever the fuck. Phantom Regret by Jim. There is hints of hey, music is a gift, and that's what this album is, a gift, and part of that is for you to take and be your own heaven, be your own version of that, move on into the dawn and do what you can to live that life without regret as you try and heal. But like this, the poem is, hey, take this and apply it to your life best you can, and take every line by line and understand what I'm saying, and there's no games in it, and I love that. Jim Carrey, man, he's got to be he's in a great place. He is in and I know he is, because I have taken in a lot of Jim Carrey's interviews, and again, his art, just a lot, just so everything that he's got to say, I'm so interested in, because if you listen to this last track here, it does feel like a bit of a reflection of a lot of what he's sort of bits and pieces of what he's given to the world lately, particularly like the last 2 years, particularly since 2020, not even 2019, 2018. You think about a lot of like, his reflections on a lot of the shit that's been going on in the world the last few years, and his reflections on that have been, to me, very profound. I've really resonated with them particularly. But The Weeknd is who we should talk about now at this point, somehow, after that last track. What a genius choice of collaboration with Jim Carrey on this. I didn't realize how vital he would be, especially closing this out like this. I want to shout out a couple tracks here, because Here We Go Again and Less Than Zero are two of my favorite Weeknd tracks that he's ever made, ever. I would pin them against almost any Weeknd track I've heard. I usually give like a list of my top 6 or the 7 songs. I knew this was gonna like not even like 5, top 5 usually, or 6. I knew this was gonna happen with this album because this also happened with After Hours. There's too many on this album. So I'll just give you those two particularly that are two of my favorite of all time. There's a lot of other tracks on here too, like How Do I Make You Love Me might be my 3rd favorite. Like Take My Breath is an incredible song. I really enjoyed Gasoline. I thought that was great, and the concept of that. Sacrifice was tremendous. I love Out of Time. I fucking love Out of Time. Is There Someone Else is great. But like particularly Here We Go Again, a Less Than Zero, I think are going to be songs that stick with me for a long time. And again, come back to me in a month or two, and I'll give you some other songs after that. They probably will reach that point. We know when it comes to the Weeknd, there's going to be releases of some songs in here that end up dominating 2022. It's going to happen, and well deserved, because he made a fucking masterpiece. Once again, it is so hard. It is so fucking hard to make something like this. Something as incredible as this, as groundbreaking and rule defying and just music needle moving as what After Hours was, and then you come out with a project like Dawn FM, and you know there's no build up to it. You just release it, you just drop it, and it's everything. It's everything and more. It is a culmination of feelings and regret and healing and this carry of trauma and these perfect collaborations and people that you worked with on it that just make so much sense, and you're just so aware of who you are as an artist and a human being and your faults and what you need to work on and how your faults are kind of like real things that are what they are, and how they reveal themselves in this album make perfect sense against what the concept of the album is as well. I mentioned before at the end of Less Than Zero how I love the fact that like you're dealing with an album that feels like it's gonna lead into what, just like a healing moment, into the dawn, into the birds and the sun, and oh, here we go, we're healed. But it's not like it's that, but it's not really that, because there's still the reality of life and who we are as human beings and how we're constantly dealing with shit. And that's why I also love that closing soliloquy poem. It's poetry at its finest by Jim. It's a song to me, the way he went about it. Because it's just so profound. I have to stop because I can go on and on. This really connected to me in a lot of ways that I expected but also didn't expect, because it's a lot. This album is going to require, not this album here, this album, I'll have a picture on the screen somewhere, is going to require a lot of listens, and I know a lot more feelings are going to come up during a lot of those listens. And that's always the best. And I can't. I'm so happy this came at the beginning of the year, so that I can have this for the entirety of the year and appreciate it for what it is at the end of the year. You know, when I reflect back on 2022 and the healing I try and go through and the growth that I try and go through, and what albums assisted in that and what albums assisted in me, you know, being more self-aware and you know, dealing with everything that is life, and regret again. Okay. Gosh, guys, I have to go. I could literally keep going. More Weeknd albums. Yeah, there's more we haven't listened to. We'll listen to those. Love you all. Peace out, guys.